Virtual communication is a way of life. How many of you have kids? How many of them usually pick up the phone to call you or to call their friends? That's not what I've experienced. I've experienced people nowadays are texting, they're emailing back and forth. They're doing it all digitally now. And what about you? When you get a text message or you get an email, how fast do you respond? For me, it's when I get my first break. I typically respond at that time to my texts, to my emails. But you know what? For the up and coming generations, what I've noticed and what I've heard from others is they just tend to respond when it's convenient to them. And they tend to prioritize their convenience as well. So expectations, I believe here, has changed in this and what is now virtual environment. For leaders, in order to get the results that we want, we have to shift the way that we communicate. It's about gaining and maintaining attention. It's about getting that focus. And those are all going to be key to how we communicate with others. Whether or not we're aligning our vision and objectives or merely just on a Zoom call, talking to our teams, it's all about being relevant and engaging. And I was thinking through this, and what if there was an example, what would that be? And for me, what that was, well, have you all went to some type of religious activity, a church, mosque, anything? And, I've been to many of these institutions, these churches in my lifetime. And I have to say, the pastors that keep me engaged, the ones that aren't just reading the Bible to me, although, there's nothing wrong with just reading the Bible, and I think everybody needs to do that, but the ones that just aren't reading, that are staying relevant, that are telling me what I need to do, what is that, that message telling me about my life, those are the ones that are being relevant, and they're challenging my daily activities. And if you think about organizationally, you think about business, it's not that much different. We need to challenge our daily activities and what we're doing, what we're trying to achieve. Those, again, objectives and key results are part of that. And this is what effective communication really is. And we tend to forget that a Zoom call is very similar to that. It's a one-way call where it's to the relationship of a pastor giving a sermon. It's usually the leader of the call talking about what we need to do, what are the objectives, or even town halls are the same way, right? And so what I found in my research is that participants in virtual meetings, they feel more aligned, they're more effective when they're engaged during the meetings. So again, the participants need to feel engaged during the meetings. If it's a one-way call, you have to be relevant. If it's a two-way call, let people speak, right? It's not just a fly on the wall that's losing interest during that meeting. So leaders, and what I mean by leaders, again, is the organizers of the virtual meetings, they need to plan. They need to script out what the meeting is about. They need to be prepared and engaging during these meetings. And sometimes that means short breaks to think. Offer information in smaller pieces and allow time to digest. So it takes time. I'm speaking a little slower right now. I'm letting you digest what I'm talking about here, and that is how to be prepared, how to be engaging. And that's the reason behind that is that there's cognitive overload that's happening during these meetings. And that's shown to be from reading slides and listening to a speaker at the same time, and perhaps looking at others in the Zoom meetings or in other video platforms at the same exact time. And that leads to ineffectiveness. So what can you do around that? You can design your slides around effective communication. Design your slides around having dialogue. What does that look like? And giving time to pause to reflect on what's being said. And then as also leaders, whether in an organization or just in a meeting, the bottom line is that effective communication is going to be key to the virtual environment. We have to build trust and credibility. We have to be relevant. We have to be engaging, and we have to plan our delivery. And that's how you're going to end up having a better Zoom meeting or a virtual meeting. And that's how you're going to communicate better and effectively for your participants to understand what you're talking about.